Ty looked very comfortable off the ball when Kihei was in the game. Is that a lineup that you'd liked in preseason?
Yeah, at times for sure. I thought, I like the versatility of, as I mentioned, this team when you can play mobile forwards or play Ty on and off the ball if Kihei's in. And I thought Kihei gave us a nice lift, and then it got Ty going as well. So that they did a good job. When we scrimmaged Villanova, we had to use that at times. He energizes us, Kihei, with his tenacity on the ball and poking a ball or making a play. So, and then, to have the more ball handlers you can have on the floor and decision makers and playmakers, the better at times.
Tony, I know you'd mentioned at ACC Media Day that the defense wasn't where you wanted it to be. How did you feel that it was tonight, especially in the second half?
I thought we had some good stands. I thought, at times we played some decent defense and then gave up offensive rebounds. Number 11 was a terrific offensive rebounder for them. Can't read his name. That's Alan. Alan. No, I'm sorry. See, I can't. Dennis, this is bad, right? Well, but I thought we had some good. A couple times we got out of position. I thought their physicality was a bit much for us. We were sort of shuffling around on the offensive end early, but we either lost our balance, couple dead plays, but then I did think we picked it up for the most part positionally and rebounded a little better and again took some stands defensively and got ignited with some ball pressure by Kihei, another one. So it moved in the right direction, but they touched the paint a little bit too much for my liking. And then no matter how good your defense is, if you can't limit them to one shot, then it's not good defense, and that became a problem for us.
Just kind of a follow-up to that, just to be back on the court, playing a meaningful game. This is how after how last season ended, just a step to move forward. How do you kind of categorize that?
Yeah, I mean, I mentioned it at Media Day, it's trying to run to the starting line. It's a new year, it's a new team, and it didn't feel any different to me than other starts of the year. This is, I think there's improvement out there, but I was just excited. I was really excited I always love Cody, Kihei, Jaden, Braxton for us, but he's played before, and I'm missing, and Grant, Austin's played. Those guys, the first time they ever touched the floor for a college game. That I don't know, that is one of the greatest joys. And I know we talk about the trembling. I said, be courageous, even if you're trembling a little bit. And but I loved it. And so that was a great joy for me to see that, and I'm glad that they got to get in.
Coach, you've always been somebody who goes with experience. That's sort of your jam, right, to go with the guys that you trust the most. But to have Braxton starting, when did that decision get made, and kind of talk us through their thought process there?
Yeah, well, my jam is, a lot of things. So I don't know if it's my jam is, Midnight Star, Boys to Men. It's, I'm actually Leon Burns and Amos Lee right now, and some good stuff I'm listening to. But no, Bridges, love him. He's coming here. Yep, and Amos Lee. Yeah, it shows you I really listen to him. No, that's right. My wife told me, and Kevin Garrett, one more for you. Braxton has practiced well. Once we knew he got the waiver. He brings versatility. He's a physical player that rebounds. Again, can someone tell me how many rebounds did he have? A few or not? 9. And he's shown that in the scrimmages. He didn't scrimmage against Richmond. He did against Villanova. He was good on the glass, and he's versatile and brings physicality and awareness. So I thought that was important. We sort of labored, with in the scrimmages when I went with our big lineup. I like the versatility of sometimes I'm playing Braxton on the perimeter offensively, and then I let Dre play more of a forward offensively, and then we flip it defensively. So that's that versatility that's there. And, with Jack and DeAndre and Mamadi, that lineup hasn't looked good. Doesn't mean it won't be used at times, but that didn't look great. We were a little crude, so I like that versatility, and I thought he gives us physicality and awareness defensively and some good passing offensively.
It's the first time we've seen DeAndre since being injured and all that. What did you take away from how he's playing and then what he brought to you?
Yeah, I thought he made. I liked his aggressiveness on the glass. How many offensive rebounds? Or he had 10. Yeah, 4 and 6, if I'm reading that right. I thought he was aggressive and stronger and more physical. He's a talented player. I think there's There's some areas he guarded the ball pretty well. I think there's some areas where he'll keep coming. It's not like he's rusty from, everybody. This is the first game. You saw a little bit of shakiness at times, but he's good. He can make some plays, and I think he's going to get more and more comfortable. And obviously we needed his aggressiveness early. He made some baskets, and I like his length and mobility. This is a mobile team with some size, and I haven't had that, and that's, I think, a strength of ours when you talk about Mamadi and even Jay in his way offensively, and then Braxton, DeAndre, the length. So it's good.
I maybe falsely thought that Braxton and DeAndre wouldn't play together because of their similarity. Do you like the two of them together playing off each other?
Which was the first part?
Braxton Key and DeAndre playing together. I thought maybe they wouldn't because they're so similar, but do you like having them?
Yeah, no, I think that's the versatility our team has, where you can do some things, and we were in foul trouble, so we had to play at times with those two. But no, I think they're similar in versatility or mobility, but they're different in their game. So you just want good players on the floor, and I think they're both very good players.
Towson didn't have an assist, and I don't know if I've ever seen that
Really?
in a college game. But that kind of shows that your defense was getting them out of their sets, and they were having to go one-on-one a lot. I guess you saw that too, but just talk about that a little bit. And
Yeah,
allowing them
no,
to
Coach does a good job with them. I think their system is the ability to, they run an initial action where they move you, they screen you hard, and if they don't have something, they're real aggressive and physical with their drives and their play off the bounce. That's how they were last year, and then they go after the glass. Coach Pat was with Jamie Dixon, and the Pittsburgh and that physical play, you could see that. So I think we were okay defensively, but that's part of also their game plan to isolate and attack and then get it on the glass if they don't make a play.
Zone press, on ball screens. Your old dog, laughing about glass and stuff. Those are kind of new tricks for you.
Yeah, no, just just looking at different things with different lineups and just kind of trying to find what will be successful for us. You're not going to change, but you have to look at adjustments and see what you can do. And I thought it was okay. A couple times got us a bucket or maybe killed a little clock in the 3/4, and then the long ball screens, I think those are things you're always looking at in the off season and adjusting. And when you got a guy like Kihei and Ty who are good off ball screens, there's some effectiveness with that.
Time for 3 more. Ron, and then Caroline.
Coach, after kind of a slow start shooting, Jerome hits back-to-back threes on consecutive possessions. Seemed like it kind of brought you guys to life. I'm curious how you thought that affected your lineup and your bench.
Well, I mean, you don't want to live and die by the three, but, we got some good looks, and I thought that ignited us. And you want your defense to ignite your offense, but sometimes your offense ignites your defense. It's just how it is. So, I think Ty made some big shots, and we couldn't quite separate for a while. I think they got cold, and they left a lot of points at the free throw line. But, no, Ty, he has pretty deep range, and he's not bashful to take it, and if he feels that he hit the pull-up three, and I don't know, you're talking more in the first half, we were laboring. Kyle couldn't get good looks, and partly because our offense wasn't moving or screening well. We lacked a little physicality on the offensive end too.
On the flip side, you guys had 19 assists and just 5 turnovers, 1 in the second half. With the way things were a little bit rusty offensively with the rest of what was going on, what do you think made the ball security and the assist work so well today?
Yeah, I mean they would 3/4 press, and then they played more containment, so they weren't out ball hawking or extending. So I thought if we could run our offense, though they were physical. But when you have a lot of ball handlers on the floor, that helps. And I still think we had some careless turnovers, but that's a good number, 19 and 5, so we'll take it.
Okay, last one.
Forgive me if I don't know the red shirting for basketball rules, but what does this mean for Cody?
Yeah, no, when you play, unless you're injured, the plan is to not redshirt him. So I want to thank Bach for putting the UMBC game on for me in my post-game press conference. That's really great of our sports information director. I think that's just wonderful. Yeah. So, yeah, no, that's great. It's fine. It's a new year.